Morning. Well, it's about time I took this newly restored VFR 800 for its first little road test. I mean, she looks great. How does she feel? And welcome on board. Now, I know I've already been out on this bike when I first got it, but I'm not really going to count that because that literally was a quick spin out to make a very quick video for you folk about 6 months ago, like I say, when I first got it. So of course I've just had the bike renovated. Took a while to do, much longer than I was planning, but then it was Christmas and one of the people working on it had COVID. So obviously you can't rush these things, and all good things come to those who wait. But at last I'm out on the VFR. Now, I'm presuming, and if you haven't done, I'm presuming you've watched the renovation video, which I put out last week or the week before, I can't remember now. So if you haven't watched it, please go and watch it, because then this video will make much more sense. Now, one of the first things I need to do, I've just noticed, before we get into the nitty-gritty, is to fill her up with petrol. Now, I was just about to apologise because it sounds very windy inside my helmet here. Now, that's the first thing I've noticed. So I bought this windscreen as a third-party add-on in the hope that the lip on it, it's a Givey windscreen, by the way, but I bought it in the hope that the lip on it would deflect the wind, because the windscreen it had on when I bought the bike was absolutely awful. Now, I have to say, first thoughts, and I've literally been on the bike for 2 kilometers, first thoughts is that this windscreen is the same. Now I'm going to have to look into getting a wind deflector possibly, and I hate the look of them, especially on a bike as beautiful as this. Or I might have to swap out the windscreen again. So there's my first invite on the comments. If anybody knows the best screen which will deflect wind to put on a VFR 800, then please let me know, because this definitely ain't working. Such a shame. Oh, that's horrible to start the video on a downer like that, but I always do these videos for live, if you like, so I don't like to set anything up, which is how I do my bike reviews as well. I like to go out, and that's why I call my bike reviews first ride, first thoughts. So I do them as live, and these videos do have my first thoughts. Anyway, moving on, moving swiftly on, let's find a load of positives. Well, of course, there's a rake of positives, because you just need to look at this bike, and that's the positive. Like I said in my previous video with the restoration, I bought this bike purely on looks alone. Yeah, I've spent over the odds. I've spent €4,350 on the bike itself, and then I spent nearly another 3,000 restoring it, obviously to my liking, if you like, to my preferences. Bike was perfectly rideable before the restoration, but you know, it was used. So I now feel like I've got a brand new bike. Actually, on that note, one of the videos I will do in the very near future is I will compare riding this 16-year-old bike to my new bikes. Obviously I can't do that, because then it wouldn't be really a true video, because as I was saying, I like to bring you sort of live reactions and live reviews. Well, I can't give you any more than what I'm feeling at the moment, so let me ride it, so you know, put some more miles under the tank, and then I can give you a much more thorough review about how this compares with you know, riding a new motorbike. Well, how it compares basically riding a 16-year-old motorbike in 2023. So I will be bringing you that video fairly soon. But for now, first thoughts, okay? Riding position is incredible. You know, it was built as a sports tourer, and you can see why it was so successful. So there's no weight at all on my wrists, I should state. I'm 5'8", So for my position, my riding position is perfect on this. And my head isn't sort of cranked back at all because I'm having to look up too far, like because I'm not crouched too far forward. So beautiful position. Let's pop in here and get a bit of petrol. It's got a 20-litre tank, so it's ideal for touring as well. And I can't wait to do more of that this year. Okay, I'll just fill up with petrol and do a little fade to black, so we're back on the road before you know it. Actually, just before I do, I shall show you the little well, this I showed you this in the restoration video. That's a little carbon effect sticker to save the keys scratching the tank. Well, I'm saying scratching the tank, I mean scratching the tank even more because it was heavily scratched. Okay, we will do the fade to black now whilst I fill up. Okay, back on the road. Now, over the top of the wind noise, I hope you can hear any sort of hint of the engine, because it really is, it's a stunning sound. So, you know, I bought the bike for the looks. I think the second thing I bought it for was the engine, without a doubt. I mean, tried and tested V4 engine, 782cc. It's just as sweet as a nut. And even when I did go and see it, I was sort of a little bit put off by all of the cosmetics on it, because it just wasn't great. But when I heard that engine, I just thought, oh God, I can't walk away from that. Anyway, my second thing I should point out is that I've just been to refuel. Now, I had one notch left on the fuel meter, and it still allowed me to put 17 litres of fuel in the tank. So the fuel gauge looks as though it's spot on and precise. I'm just going to angle this mirror a little bit. I was wondering why I couldn't see the road behind. Actually, for those eagle-eyed amongst you, again, you may notice I'm wearing a Merlin Purton jacket. So I won't say very much about this at the minute. It's a new jacket, bought it with my own money. I can't give you a review on it because this is literally one of my first spins out with it. So once I've had it a while and I've ridden in a few different sort of weathers, then I'll do a review on the jacket. Okay, enough said about that. Back to the bike. Got the Michelin Road 6s as well. And again, because I've done less than 100 kilometers on the bike since I got it, and even less actually with the Michelin Road 6s on, I won't be endangering myself, as my wife calls it. Don't be putting yourself in danger. So it's still fairly early in the year. Delighted I got the bike back really now, because all I have to do is to look forward to some really nice trips away. The reason I bought this bike was because the GS was doing all of the long work for me. Every time I go away for the well, for a few days to do things like the there's a beautiful buzzard just flown up onto the pole there, I don't know if you saw that. But things like the Mountain Pass series and, you know, the thing I did last year in Connemara, all those trips away were all done on the GS. So I bought this to sort of split the load, really. Because, well, it's unfair to keep putting all the miles on the GS, otherwise it'll be worthless in a few years' time. And B, it's nice for you folk who watch the channel to see me going away on different bikes and see how I got on with different bikes. Do you know something, and I'm not just saying this, right? I have settled into this bike immediately. It just feels beautiful. You know, the only sort of technology, if you like, on it is ABS. So there's no rider modes. You know, no electronic suspension. A bit of loose gravel on the road and a bit of muck from all the agricultural machinery. So I will be taking it handy on these new tyres. I have the Rode 5s on the GS and they're just incredible, which is why I bought the Rode 6s for this. So yeah, in terms of fancy stuff, there's not even a gear indicator on here. Don't really need it. You can sort of feel what gear you're in. Of course, this is the 6th generation VFR 800 and it has the fantastic VTEC. You know, when I was watching reviews and reading reviews as well before I bought this bike, a lot of people were frightened of the VTEC. but it definitely doesn't kick in like a sort of turbo boost. It just, I mean, it's quite gradual, I think. If I get a chance to try it out on this trip, I will. However, these roads are very greasy. I hope that a slight spattering of rain isn't covering the lens too much either. Countryside looks very washed out, doesn't it? It's been a fairly rough winter. However, spring is around the corner. I'm loving the bike, I really am. The windscreen I will have to get addressed. But it's the throttle is so responsive, it's instant, you know. And none of that fly-by-wire of technology there, let me tell you. And brakes are just on point as well, beautiful. Of course, it's got the dual braking system, which I suppose is a little bit like my GS has now, with the telelever suspension as well. So you just can't help it on a bike, can you? Well, any bike. I was going to say a bike like this, but any bike. As soon as you see a stretch of open road, that's it. Especially when we've been sort of curtailed because of the weather, certainly here in Ireland. Anyway, this is just feeling amazing. I took the seat cowl. I took the seat cowl off just in the hope that my son, or dare I say it, my wife, might pop on the back of a bike like this. But I'd love to see how comfortable it is for a pillion. So I took the seat cowl off, and actually I'm pleased I did, because I sort of like the look better without the seat cowl. Now, all the people who worked on this and brought it back to life and brought it back to its full glory, I just can't say enough things about them. Please, without me going over things that I've said in a previous video about the restoration of this bike, please just go and watch that video. I really was so lucky to find the craftsman that I did, really, to work on this project. The bike, is that a sheep? No, it's God, maybe I need to get my eyes tested. It's a dog come out on the road. But the bike feels lovely and tight. It feels fresh. Actually, that's the other thing. You know, well, maybe it's just me. You know when you've taken your car to the car wash to get it washed? Is it just me, or do you feel like it drives differently, better, after you've had it washed? I feel like that about my car, and certainly my bikes as well. So of course this is going to feel, after the amount of work I've had done on this is going to feel as though it's just come out of the showroom. And it really does. It's beautifully balanced. I noticed when I was moving it around to, before I got on it to take it for the spin today, it does feel heavy, and it is a heavy bike. But it's beautifully balanced. There's certainly no wanton to lean over in the corner. Suspension, I will mess around with the suspension, but for my weight, just under 200 pounds, suspension seems fairly well set up. Mind you, I haven't had any sort of tricky roads to try it out on yet. Oh, look at that stuff there. I know what that is. There's a creamery around here, and that was milk on the road. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the creamery lorries in front of me. I have been sprayed with milk following one of these lorries before, so I'll just make sure it's not that lorry in front of me. I don't think it is, but yeah, that's definitely one of the creamery lorries. Bit of a nuisance. Imagine coming off I'm saying a brand new bike. I keep thinking it is a brand new bike. It's not a bad way to feel, but imagine coming off my newly restored bike because I slipped on milk. Well, at least you'd be able to say you were only crying over spilt milk. Well, there's definitely a lot of rubbish on the road in the middle here. And when that wind noise stops, certainly inside my helmet, I can hear the beautiful roar of the V4 as I wind her up again. Oh, this is beautiful. I just can't wait to take her further afield. I'm very much in my local vicinity, just literally giving the bike its first spin out, just to see how it feels. So even though the windscreen is going to have to be addressed, everything else I'm absolutely delighted with. I love the way it looks. I love the way it's been restored. The tyres are incredible. The engine feels as tight as I'm sure it did when it was first sold. And the brakes feel brand new. Riding position's fabulous. All is good. Try and get past this tanker. So on that note, folks, I'll probably end the video there because I'm gonna head home. I'm gonna give her a good old polish, as I love doing. And at some stage this year I'll probably get it ceramic coated professionally in ACF 50, maybe in the autumn before next winter. But I'm really delighted with this bike. And sure, if you're not a subscriber, please become one, because I can tell you this now, there is going to be plenty more videos on board this beauty. VFR 800, absolutely gorgeous bike. Happy camper. Thanks for tuning in, folks. You know who I am, Dave Perry. Really good TV. Over and out.